Welcome to Top Rated Gym Podcast. I'm your host, Andres Vjovic, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Hensley Ellefritz, a founder of REBOOT. Hensley is a true sales and business growth expert in the health and wellness industry. She's worked with over 100 independent fitness and wellness companies, helping them recoup their investment in her programs within just 12 weeks, guys. Hensley has an impressive background. She is previously vice president of sales in Club Pilates, and as well as holding other sales leadership roles like brands like Pure Barre, MADabolic, and Equinox. What really sets her apart is her deep understanding of the fitness businesses from multiple angles. She's been certified in 3 different fitness concepts, and she knows firsthand the challenges that studio owners and trainers face. Hensley, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So, Hensley, why is sales one of your favorite topics? I know we can talk about many other things.
Yeah.
Where the passion for sales come from?
I can't say that I sought out to do sales. In fact, when I was growing up, one of my favorite stories to tell is I would always say I wanted to be a doctor when I grow up, and my parents would be like, she's going to be in sales. And I went to school for sport management and really wanted to get into management at Equinox, which is where I worked at the front desk during college. And they said, you have to start by selling memberships. And I was like, oh, that's gross. I don't want, I didn't go to school to just sell gym memberships. And within the year, I was the top performer in the brand, and it's only, it's been all the way up and up and up since. So I think my favorite part of sales is just defying the stereotype that it has to be dishonest and grueling and tiring and monotonous. The way that I approach sales with my clients is really human and present and solution driven. And I think when you start to see sales from that lens, it becomes helping people instead of selling them something they need.
And that's what struck me last time we talked. You used a term called selling authentically, if I remember correctly. I want to come from people to hear that from you. Why is that so impactful?
I think there's one thing that I feel I know for certain, and it's not going to be a popular stance, but I think with the growth of AI, sales is going to be forced to be more human. Because if I'm getting an onslaught of texts and emails and DMs, the only thing I know for sure is that there's a human in front of me who's listening to me and giving me perspective and ideally a solution. And so to me, selling authentically is hearing where the person in front of you is today, where they want to be, and if your product or service can serve as a solution, and being okay and transparent if it's not. And to me, that's what's grown my brand is being really clear with potential clients that we can't service you in that regard, but I know someone who can. And I think by being a steward of your community and of your people and approaching it as, I'm going to find you a solution and hopefully it's us, but it might not be, people will gravitate to you for that honesty and transparency and authenticity. And if you don't make that sale, you will make the second, and that person will come back to you because they trust you, and people buy from people they trust.
You're 100% right. The more automation we have, the less connection with automation we have.
Yes.
And AI is doing a really magical thing about responding in human-like responses, right? Putting emojis and emotions and so on. But everybody's figuring out, hey, this text message might not be human at all. And I'm a developer of AI technology. I see what's coming through hundreds of accounts, right? It's like people are almost assuming this is AI, and they're becoming rude toward AI. And then teasing it and testing it. Like, okay, prove it. How much is 11 plus 4, right? And so on. Trying to figure out what's AI, what's not. But as the AI is being developed, I believe in a hands-made object, in human interactions, face-to-face, is getting more credibility, not less. Because you cannot shame the AI. You cannot be AI and lose your credibility. You don't care. There's no shame on AI side. But there is a shame on our side That's why we all try to do our best to keep our credibility and respect, and we don't want to put that online. So people understand that we all have something to protect. And when you're human dealing with human, there's a lot higher trust factor. It seems like face-to-face will be the only way remaining of testing are we human or not. Because even video pretty soon might be faked.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want this to be misconstrued as, all right, if you have 100 leads, you need to personally reach out to every single one of them. I think that's where automation and AI can be the assist and can help you cast that wide fishing net initially. And then those who bite, who show you that they're a hot lead, those are the ones you devote your human energy to. But
That's
if
right.
automation is teeing up the sale, or I'm working with a basketball franchise now, and I say, all right, they're teeing up the layup. You still have to make the layup. You still have to deliver that person across the finish line.
Yes.
AI can't do that for you. So I think there's room for both, but ultimately, humanity is what's going to create the connection and ultimately drive conversion more than any technology ever could.
And I want to talk to you about really getting deeper into sales.
Yeah.
A lot of people think they're good in sales. And they might be talking, maybe some of your clients, I know my clients, like, no, sales is not my problem. I have no problem. And then my team calls 5 of their competitors to schedule a booking, and we record a call, and we record their locations, and we send them all recording, says, which one would you pick if you're a new lead? And most likely it's not theirs, because employees don't manage. Maybe the owner knows the sales, but employees don't. So how do you assess the sales process or give somebody kind of ranking? Like, how do you know if somebody's good in sales or not?
I think the only way to objectively determine if someone is, or a business is good at sales or not, is through numbers and applying those numbers to industry benchmarks or even to their own numbers and seeing, all right, trends over the last month, you've increased your conversion, you've decreased your conversion. I think that people don't think they're not good at sales. I think they're in denial because there are easier, more fun things to solve on the marketing end. And we're all looking for a quick save and a quick buck. That's just the society we live in now. And slowing down to understand someone's needs and prescribe them a recommendation. No one wants to hear that's going to be the way that they ultimately double their revenue, right? They're looking for a simpler fix and a more magic novel bullet. But the only way to prove that's the issue or not is through their numbers.
And if you don't mind, let's dig deeper into that. What would you say there are important numbers to look at it?
So all of my clients know this. The franchise clients that I work with know this, but I consider 5 KPIs to really be your MVPs and really indicate the strength of your sales funnel as a whole. The number of leads you're getting, so L. Appointments, so the number of trials, whether it's a first class free or a 1-week trial, the percentage of those leads that then become appointments. So we have LA. Show or redemption, so the percentage of those people who purchase the 1 week and use that 1 week, or purchase that first class and redeem that first class. And then E would be enrollment, so the percentage of those leads who take a free class or redeem another trial and pursue a membership, not a package or a drop-in, but an actual recurring subscriptive membership. And then retention, the percentage of your membership base that remains active month over month. So
Laser.
conveniently,
It is
laser.
our word, laser.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So laser is what drives really my business. You guys know the secret sauce now. And yeah, I think monitoring, frankly, from the bottom to the top, right? If you have 10 people complete that trial show, let's say 2 people enroll. If you could, without changing the number of trials, you have 10 people that redeem that trial, and now you've converted 6 of those. You spent no more marketing dollars. You spent no more effort, right, to book those 10 trials, but you've now multiplied that ROI by 2. That's a sales issue. But that's the better way to approach the business versus, sure, we're converting at 10, 20%, but we're just going to spend more money and energy on social media and marketing to push more leads through the funnel. Well, if you're only converting at 20%, that laser funnel is super skinny. Let's focus on getting it wide first and then graduating up from there.
And guys, it's super simple, but it's also super simple not to do it. Laser means leads, appointments, show rate. Enrollment means conversion and retention, how long you keep those. If you keep the members for 2 months, nothing. Those 4 letters mean nothing, right? Unless the last one is in place. I've been on Tony Robbins' conference called Business Mastery. He charges $10,000 to $10,000 to attend it. And he brings one of the world best speakers. And whole day he spent on optimize conversion. It's a very simple process, but it is breaking down this funnel, like you said, from the top to the bottom. And then you're looking into each one. Where are you now? Where you want to be? And what's the small, tiny difference you can do to make it better? And then you pile up 6 different steps, even if it's 5 to 10% increment on each of the steps, you end up doubling the business. And you know the 10% is conservative, you put everything. And then you go with a team and drill down the ideas. Like you don't need to come with all ideas. Your team might have some ideas to how to convert, how to bring things up, how to emphasize. But at the end, it's about optimizing what you got. We all know that. And it starts with the numbers. I like how you said it. Start with the numbers. And the numbers means nothing unless you see the trends. If somebody's 300 pounds, heavy, we don't know if it's good or bad until we see last month number. If it was 350 pounds, that means he lost 50 pounds. He's making progress. Unless he was 250 pounds, gained 50, now 300, he's getting worse. So you guys need to know now numbers and a month before numbers so you can see the trend. And if trend is positive in all these measurements, then you're making progress, you're moving to that direction and knowing what the goal is. So do to yourself what you're doing to your clients. Same thing, or get a coach, right?
And to echo what you're saying, if I'm that 300-pound man that wants to be 150 and I go, what's my ideal weight? And you go, oh, you're supposed to be 150 pounds. That becomes this magnanimous like dream goal where I'm much more apt to be like, well, F it, I'm just going to throw in the towel. That's half my body weight. So when clients come to me and they're at 10% conversion and they go, well, what's industry benchmark? That's where I go, let's look at what you've converted at historically and how we can increase that conversion by 5% this next month. Because when we're comparing ourselves against something that is out of our control right now and feels way too far off, that's where I've seen clients just be like, you know what, I'm not even going to try. I'm going to go back to marketing, or I'm going to go back to social media that feels more in my control.
True. Because if I compare, like best examples I have, like 60% conversion from the lead to the members. But you can't compare because these guys have dedicated staff. He has a business that's running $2 million. He has a team of people who are working around that. He has so much systems in place. That step is much too far away from somebody who's doing 10%.
That's right.
So it's like, okay, how can you make from 10 to 15, 15 to 20? Use that extra money that you got without paying for the leads and extended conversion to increase and boost those numbers as well. So progress is much better than where you are now. I think progress is just thinking about constantly never-ending improving the process. Is the whole psychology between Japanese. They don't care about competitors. Michael Jordan never compared his numbers with competitors. He only compared with his own numbers. How can I beat myself? And I think everybody should be looking at those numbers as well. Just look at the trend and measure it. I like another thing as well when it says there's only 3 things. Jay Abraham, one of my favorite marketers. I don't know if you're a fan of him or not. He has hundreds of ideas to improve the business. And on one of the conferences, Jay, you're sometimes too complicated. You're too much. A regular brain cannot grasp it. Give me 3 things a business can do to grow their business. He taught for 5 minutes, literally quiet. Says, okay, simple 3 things. Increase number of clients by 10%, increase the frequency of their purchases. That means upsell, referrals, and so on by 10%, and find a way to value so you can increase price for 10%. If you do that consistently, your business will double because they compound. 3 times 10% is not 30%. It's like 34. because they compound on each other. Piles up.
And I think that's huge, especially I namely work with boutique fitness owners who have anywhere between a capacity of 12 to 30. And so you're going to hit that utilization number, like full classes here pretty soon. But so often they're bogged down with like, I just need more members. I just need more members. Well, what if we were to get that member to stay 9 to 10 months instead of 6? Well, what if we were to get them to come from 4 times a month to 8? What if we were to get them referring 3 new members instead of 1? This is all much more fun and organic because you get to converse with your existing clients versus leads you have never met before. And ultimately, we know the more that clients spend with you, the longer they're going to stay. So it's better for your business. It's better for them. They're getting better results. So I think those 3 points are often points that studio owners and business owners in general neglect because we see the next bright, shiny object and look externally instead.
There we go. And I always, even in our own businesses, with my own team, I says it's not about what we don't have. It's about what we have to use it the best possible way.
Yes.
Just squeeze out the last drop of juice of everything you got.
Yeah.
You know how many times people have referral to give you, but the fact that you're not asking for referrals, you will never get one?
Yeah.
Just SMS messages can be automated. It says, hey, who would you like to come on class today with? Let me give them a free class, right? Like bring your mother, father, brother, colleague from work. Make it fun. Challenge your neighbor and so on. So there's so many ways, easy ways, but people think, oh, I don't want to be begging for referrals. You don't have to be begging. Automate it. Put it in a system. Educate it. Put a sign inside. Reward people. Make a contest. Make a challenge. Make it fun. The best person with the most referrals gets play their playlist for the whole workout. I mean, name it. It can be fun. So who is responsible, in your opinion, for sales? Like when we talk about franchises, boutique franchises, for example, is this corporation, HQ, owner, manager, trainer, employee, call center?
Yeah. So I work with 2 types of clients. I work with franchises and then I work with independent studio owners. And I would say in both instances, you really need someone who is going to, until you are breaking even, be driving sales from 8 to 5 every day, who's going to be out there generating leads, converting leads, upselling leads, asking for the referrals. And oftentimes, I'm a small business owner too. We're creative, we're entrepreneurial. We don't like to be bogged down in responding to conversations and so forth. So oftentimes I find that that's a dedicated sales manager or a studio manager so that the business owner can focus on the growth of the business as a whole or the brand as a whole. There are certainly instances, especially if you have a lower break even, where the studio owner can do both. It's more of a small time operation, but I would say 75% of the time in independent studios, almost 100% of the time in franchises, you need a dedicated sales manager that's their full-time role, who is not the head coach, not the head instructor. They're front of the house only.
Yeah. And, people are trapped with a sales manager. A lot of them have it. What would be your recommendation if you have somebody who you believe it's not fully a player? He's doing okay job.
As a sales manager?
As a sales manager.
I've coached a lot of these, BC sales managers. And one of the things my previous boss, the president of Club Pilates, used to say was, first figure out if it's a can't or a won't. Is it that they can't do it? Or is it that they won't do it? And if it's that they won't do it, that's someone you need to get rid of. If it's that they can't do it, it's have they not been trained up enough to do it? Do they not have the time? Do they not have the know-how? So really being honest with yourself as the business owner of, have I given them the tools and the expertise and the guidance to get them to become a B player from a C player or an A player from a B player? And then the second thing I always focus on with studio owners, and this is a great exercise, is get your manager, and I do this with my team, I do this with clients all the time, for 3 days, take inventory of anything that takes you more than 3 minutes, from taking out the trash to reconciling classes to getting back to a member. Really find out what else is bogging down your sales manager or yourself from completing what you set out to do on a daily or weekly basis. And at that point, you have the canvas of, all right, this person has the time to dedicate to this role. They have the know-how to do this. Now, why aren't they doing it? From there, my typical coaching is, let's focus on quality versus quantity. Let's identify the hot leads and really focus on those people this week. And what do those conversations sound like? So that adage of like the riches are in the niches, that applies in marketing. I also think it applies to sales. And if they can do that on a small scale, then they can do that on a larger scale.
I agree. I spoke with the person who owns 45 locations in the martial art, and each one is profitable, incredibly profitable. No single location ever even reaching break even. He lives such a great lifestyle as our owner of the brand, traveling 200 days a year to have business down to the point.
Yeah.
And very simply, he doesn't want to have a B player or C players. Says if you're a B player, there's no the role, there's no surprise. You're going on a probation. You're getting 30 days to pick up your rate, right? I'm going to invest in you, time, training, resources, consulting, coaching, whatever he needs. I want to make sure that I want to do it instead of I can't, or I don't have time. So instead of cutting them off loose, he says, okay, let me do my best to support this person to get to where they're supposed to be in a winning position. And we go all out. In 30 days, if this person doesn't cut it, there's no need to fire them. They know the outcome. I was like, either you love it, you're in it, you're pulling in, and you're pushing it, you're on the front of the cart, pulling it all forward, or you figure out this is not for you. I was like, ooh, this is pretty cool. Like everybody knows it. Now, we started the project in our company, and it's a brand new project, brand new market, brand new initiatives. It's dragging it for 9 months, and I'm not seeing return on investment. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to shut down this project, this initiatives. And I'm thinking like, oh, before I shut it down, let's talk to the team. Like, guys, we have, since it was a big project, like we have 3 months to get this project to be profitable and self-sustainable, or we'll just shut it down. This is not working the way we do. The moment I announced that, all people in the team start acting differently. It's like, oh, why are we doing this? We're wasting time. Let's bring on this one. I need free up this. Like, boom, in a month, we become profitable on that project. Because they know there's a deadline, there's the outcome, there is probation, there's a certain challenge that has to be solved. So that's what I like about what you said. Hey, you have either B to A, give them a chance, put them out. Either they can't or they want. So which one? And then you determine. And let's say they fail. They need to replace new one. Can you share some highlights? How do you recommend people getting new person? And how the A players?
Yeah, I mean, I am probably preaching to the choir that this industry has grown explosively, which has made it harder and harder to source good talent because the good salespeople are already making money somewhere. They're not poking their head up and looking for other opportunities. They're making money wherever they are. So I think the first is recognize that the way you are compensating someone is going to drive performance. And if they are sales minded, they are going to be driven by a lower base, higher commission structure. So I would say first look at that and really understand what worked and what didn't the first time. For instance, did you find someone that really loved Pilates because you're a Pilates studio? Okay, you probably should focus more on someone who loves sales, is driven by those numbers, and can be taught to love Pilates, which is a lot easier to learn to love than sales. And then secondarily, I always recommend that studio owners always be building their bench, that they always be looking for good talent, that if their studio manager is focused on driving them leads, that they are always looking for good instructor, good coach, good potential management leads, so that you're never in a bind where you're like, I wish I could get rid of this person, but I don't have anyone else. So just slapping a post on LinkedIn and hoping for the best, unfortunately, just isn't going to work in this day and age. Like I said, you're typically going to find your next hire at one of your competitors because, again, they're already employed. So without getting into details, I think it's making sure those people kind of ahead of time so that you're not forced into a corner.
And I like about that compensation first topic, because I used to have two approaches. In our outbound call center, we used to have performance-based, and our appointment setters were making like 60, 70, 80 bucks an hour, even being somewhere around the globe, from the Philippines, South Africa, US, like 80 bucks an hour. And then my CFO said, Andre, aren't we better off putting good people on hourly rate and saving maybe 40, 50 bucks? Let's find good hourly rate employees. And I did a try. That was a 6-month project that died. It almost put my company in jeopardy, because you put a norm, you put expectations, they're barely reaching it just to stay afloat, and went totally wrong. And then I said to the same people who are on our list, guys, you have 2 weeks to switch to performance-based, 100% commission-based, no base. And I told them, in next 2 weeks, you'll be paid more based on which one makes you more money. After 2 weeks, we are all on performance-based. But I want to give you a chance to have a backup. So if you're making more on a weekly basis on a base pay, I'll give you that. If you exceed that by having better performance, you'll get that. So my appointment setters went from 2 appointments a day to 10 appointments a day.
Wow.
Same freaking people. 5x performance. And they came to me as like, why haven't we done this before? Didn't cost me overall nothing. I was barely covering my 2 appointments a day. Now they're doing 10. They're making 5 times more money again.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Everybody's happy. By the way, some of them quit because they were not superstars. If you're a go-getter, you want a performance to be as big as possible. That's where the rewards are. Because if you're thinking about big organizations, I'm just now thinking on sideways. Think about this. If you're base pay employee, that means they're taking average numbers. So superstars suffer so you can pay those low performance people.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have commissions. Somebody will make twice as good effort, but make maybe 50% more. If I'm superstar, I want to make every dime back to me. If I double somebody's performance, I want to be paid double. And that's kind of how you find. How do you, let's say you found somebody who's good, but do you have any hacks for interview questions, for something to recognize who's good or bad? Because it's so easy to pretend today.
Yeah, I think real world scenarios. So role playing with them, right? Someone can say they're great at sales, but put them through a scenario of pretend to be the lead, pretend to be the member that's canceling, pretend to be the business owner next door that doesn't want to work with you. That's when you can really see in real time, can this person back up what they're saying? So yeah, we share interview questions with our clients because a lot of them don't have sales guidance, so they don't, or sales background, so they don't know what to ask. But, that's someone's numbers or saying that they were good in their last role doesn't necessarily showcase how good a salesperson they will be for your brand.
That's right. When I was hiring 11 years ago, when I started my company, Chet Holmes, in his book, Ultimate Sales Machine, has a hiring module. He talks about find how much maximum money somebody can make in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like $150,000, $300,000, and put that as an ad. Hiring superstars only, $300K salary. Like, what's the best outcome for somebody who is absolutely killer? You're getting Wolf of the Wall Street kind of guy. And then ad says, do not even apply unless you're a superstar, you can prove it. Right? And I was like, oh, I'll try that. I copy his and I start applying it. And tons of people, I get 500 applications in a week. Everybody wants 300,000. And then he said, you got asked in 3 questions. Why do you like this job? To find their impressions, to see if they research about your company and what's passion. And then why are you a superstar? And they have to sell you on that. And the third one was the key, and I loved it so much. It's like, sorry, but I don't hear it. So you give them rejection. And they can be really incredible, best person in the world. You still have to say, sorry, I don't hear it. If they don't know how to fight objection in front of you, they're not a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the daily magic they're going to feel every day. And quite frankly, I enjoy that process. I did not enjoy it because sometimes you get such a great person to tell you, and it's so hard to say sorry, but I don't hear it.
Yeah.
Right. And they come back and they fight and they fight and they fight. And I was like, damn, I cannot say no to this person. It was like 5 minutes interview because I had to interview 35 people in a day. It's like, boom, boom, boom. Let's put it all on a spreadsheet, claim 5 minutes, and come on Zoom call in your minute time. So it was kind of fun. But that's the same thing as you're doing, role playing. Put them in a role right away.
Yeah.
Your role
and
right
I
away.
think also, look at your staff. People know that have worked for me, know I have never hired someone that wasn't base plus commission. Everyone on my team has always had some sort of quota that they have to meet, whether they're in marketing, ops, sales. So what that has shown them is that they can be salespeople, right? They're meeting these quotas and then to turn around and go, so you made that happen, by the way, whether it was number of new subscriptions or clients sold or so forth. And so if you're dealing with even hourly employees or instructors and you're like, I don't think these are salespeople, find something to measure and then show them their performance. And that's where they're going to get the confidence that, hey, maybe I am someone that could be a base plus commission employee.
Exactly. And Arnold Schwarzenegger also said, if you provide them a safety net, they will never, never show their performance. That base, just simple example. Last week, I was visiting one of the locations that have only base pay people, no commission. And they didn't care how quickly they'll follow up on leads. They didn't care about how a follow up. They did their jobs, but timing wise, totally wrong. And the same guy have a laptop. So he's working for a wellness business, have a laptop. And he opened up a laptop and start dialing numbers. I was like, what's that? I was like, yeah, I work for 2 businesses. I work with CrossFit gym and I work in this wellness business. I was like, interesting. I was like, yeah, this is commission based. Boom. I make more money here part-time than here full-time. So he took commission-based sales, 100% job, working in another business, double dipping. And he's more following, faster to follow up on lead with his commission-based job than the one full-time job that provides him safety. It's nuts.
They exist. I mean, yes, they're harder to find than someone who's going to just check someone in and say, have a good day. But salespeople do exist and they are motivated in that way. It's just finding ways to motivate and develop them and keep them with you. But
this is super cool. I agree with you 100%. Now, time flies with you. We can talk about this day and night.
Yeah.
Yes. I got to ask you, like, give me some resources. You know a lot about this and you're not born with all the sales knowledge. Maybe you're a unicorn on that side. Where would you send somebody? Like how did you learn this? Like what books you recommend, conferences, podcasts, or mentors do you recommend for somebody to learn more about sales?
I am probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but I love Simon Sinek. I think he is an incredible business, marketing, but especially sales mentor. And the way that I see our industry shifting and his finger on the pulse of where we're moving as being more human, high touch in our sales approach, I think he's pretty spot on. But I would also say nothing is more helpful to me in building my business and in clients building their business than surveying and listening to their clients on what they like, what they need, why they're staying, because ultimately that's what you want to grow, right? Is more of them, more of the people that are spending with you, that are staying with you, that are referring like-minded clients. And so I spend a lot of my time looking at where else they are going for resources. I think I'm kind of like you in that from the jump have just focused on how can we make Reboot the best client resource. And there's a reason like we waitlisted because no one's leaving, right? And that's because we're continuing to cultivate like, how can we make this better and better for the clients that we serve? And so it might be selfish and short-sighted, but they've been my best resource in gleaning best practices and in mentoring and learning from them and in hearing really what they need at the ground level. So instead of just coming on my high horse and being like, hey, I know everything about sales, I know everything about the industry. No, I learn more from the phone calls I have from 8 to 6 p.m. I learn way more than I share in knowledge. So it's probably not the answer you're looking for.
Talk to your clients, because just simple question, why are you here? You have a client for a long time. They'll tell you the reason why they're here that you probably did not expect. And that line can be your sales pitch. That
Exactly.
line can be your headline on a page. That line can be your ad. That line is a problem that other people have, right?
Bingo.
And then you go deeper, like, holy smoke. But I think people open more when you ask them in person. Tell me, I'm interesting. I would love to have more people like yourself. Why are you here? Why did you
Yeah,
originally sign up? Why are you staying with us for so long?
exactly. And to your point, then it becomes, oh, that's the need I'm fulfilling. That's what I need to be
Mhm.
promoting, not my service or, the ins and outs and capabilities. The fact that my clients feel 10 times more confident than they did before they started, that they look at sales with a new lens and they can approach it organically like that.
Mhm.
It becomes it solidifies your brand identity. It helps shake out the marketing campaigns that you're going to run. Like, to me, I don't know. I think I've always been super client driven, and I think they're the best resource for any service-based business.
Super cool. I want people to know how they find more information about you. You have a coaching business. You have these incredible brands. People are raving about you. They're happy with your outcome, with the results. I know your time is limited and your capacity is limited, but some of them are wondering now that, like, I love her. Like, I want to talk to her. So if you don't mind just sharing for the audience, I didn't want to kind of put you on a spotlight here, but how would somebody get in touch with you or the
Yeah.
program or anything you guys do?
My EA is probably listening to this and rolling her eyes because I'm notorious for the like, oh, we can do one more. Oh, we can fit in one more. And the fact is, I work with clients once a month, and that was part of, I wanted to make this feasible and I wanted to be price sensitive to those that really needed it. But because of that, I can work with a lot of people all at once. So don't reach out because you think there isn't room for you, because if you need it, we will find room for you. So the best way is through our website, rebootfc.com, or on Instagram, we're at Reboot BFC, Boutique Fitness Consulting, and just shoot us a DM that way. We're on both.
Awesome. Hey, you are Jam. You are awesome. Thank you
Thank
so much for
you. I've
today's
loved
episode.
this. Thanks for having me.
And for you guys, you know what to do. Click share. There's people who needs to hear this. There's your friends, your colleagues, your employees, your partners in the community. Click share, subscribe for more awesome context that Top Rated Gym podcast provides. Until next time, signing off. See you next time. If you are a gym owner looking to become a top-rated gym in your area, visit topratedgym.com and grab our free 30-day reputation boost. That's topratedgym.com. I'll add it to the show notes for you. Don't forget to share this with your friends. Stay strong, stay motivated, and keep pushing your gym to the top. Until next time, this is Andre signing off.